Hello everybody and welcome back to another reaction. We are here with this extremely blurry thumbnail for this event out of Fontaine, one assumes. I see Fremine! Let's see, how are we looking? We look all set up. I know nothing about this event. So let's jump into it. How about you?
That can't be right.
Oh!
But what if they're real after
Fontaine
all?
Fishing Association.
No, that can't be. But what if there's a chance?
I feel like she's talking about penguins, just instinctively. I think she's talking about penguins. Maybe it's because we saw Fremine earlier.
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm Della Roche, the representative of the Fontaine Fishing Association. How can I help you?
We received your commission request.
So you're adventurers. Oh, finally. Someone has heard my prayers.
Paimon could tell you were really bothered by something. Don't worry, you've got two super experienced adventurers right here. We'll take care of anything and everything for you as long as you pay us a little bit of mora.
Oh, you are exactly
Careful
the help
making
that
that kind
I
of
need.
promise.
See, the problem is that the fish around a fishing spot at Araneus have just all up and vanished recently.
Ooh,
They
something's eating them
disappeared
maybe.
Too quickly for it to have been the work of human anglers. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I had planned to go and investigate the area right away.
But
Right, but unfortunately, as the representative of the Fishing Association, there are a few other errands that I absolutely have to run. So,
So you'd like us to investigate the spot for you?
exactly, you're right on the Mora. So I thought I could delegate this work to you. Are you two some kind of prophets, knowing exactly what I was going to say like that? Or maybe like the oracles you read about in fairy tales.
nope, we already told you that we're
We're just really
adventurers.
experienced in this kind of thing, that's all.
It happens all the time.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'll get a good night's sleep knowing the two of you are on the case.
But don't we just need to investigate the missing fish? It really doesn't sound too difficult.
No, you mustn't let your guard down. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I have good reason to believe that the fish have gone missing due to an encounter with the water imps.
Water imps.
Yes, you're both Outlanders, right? Our local fairy tales often speak of a terrifying underwater creature called Thelxie. The
Oh.
story our parents would tell us was always the same. If we went to the water alone, then we'd be snatched away and eaten by a water imp called Thelxie.
A child eating water imp? Did they tell you what it looked like?
What is a water imp in the
My
context of
father would always
Fontaine?
describe it as a beautiful, multicolored snake woman, while my mother said it had a handsome face. It's really strange, though, because you'd also hear other people describe it as just a chubby penguin with a deceptive appearance.
So there is a
Even
penguin.
though the tales vary regarding its appearance.
Oh, Fremine likes
everyone
tails,
agrees
doesn't
that
he?
It's really dangerous. It
See
lives
the
in
connection.
an underwater cave surrounded by pallid bones and uses its sensitive nose to track down lonely children who've lost their way.
Oh, it would be cool if it was actually the boss, you know, the seahorse boss. Aren't there bones near the cave to that place?
And once it finds a child, it uses its alluring singing voice to lure them into the water before swallowing them whole. Pretty terrifying, isn't it?
Sounds like a siren.
Sounds kinda scary. But isn't that pretty normal for a fairy tale? After all, those kinds of stories are usually made up to help keep children away from danger.
But what if the fairy tale was inspired by a real-life tale? Just like how a water vein always has a source.
Do you have any concrete
I
evidence?
wouldn't call it evidence per se, but I've heard some rumors lately. They say that someone recently saw a child walk into the water as if he was possessed by
I bet it was
something.
Fremine,
Doesn't that sound just like he was responding to the call of a water imp?
distracted by his own
Someone
thoughts.
really got eaten by a water imp?
He probably
It's all
got back out.
hearsay, so it's hard to confirm. But still, they all say this happened on Araneus. That's no laughing matter if you ask me.
Araneus!
The Opera House and the Fountain of Lucine were built there, and the sources of many water veins can be traced to the island as well. Combine that with the mysterious mist, the huge tree with expansive underground roots, and the rumor that the fish chefs on the island can understand human language. Is it really so shocking that an island so shrouded in mystery could harbor a terrifying water imp as well?
I feel like that makes it more likely that it's just one of those other things that she mentioned mistaken. So, like, could be a V-shop, for instance. But let's see. What do we think it is? I feel like that child who walked into the water was probably Fremine, so I want to go find him and chat, see what he was up to. Could be like a plant swaying in the distance in murky water, hard to see. The song could be the sound of those like reed pipe puzzles. I don't know.
Does Paimon feel like you're pulling our
A combination of many
Just
factors.
piling on the rumors now. Still, if someone's really been hurt, then we can't just ignore the situation, right, Traveler?
We'll go check it out.
Marvelous. Then I'll just mark the stretch of water on your map. Don't forget that no matter what, safety always comes first.
I appreciate your concern. But I like what Paimon said, that, you know, these stories are usually made up to keep children safe. So if anything...
Look pretty fresh. Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can find anything else.
I doubt there's any danger at the end of this mystery. It's probably just Fremine taking care of some deep water creature. I don't know.
Wait, did you hear something just now?
Alternatively, a ghost. But I doubt there'd be a ghost. Gurgling noises can be heard coming from the water. The noises grow louder and louder until something emerges with a loud splash. A certain diver, perhaps? Indeed.
Paimon? Traveler?
The most terrifying thing of all. A human.
I'm
Fremine!
sorry. I forgot I was still wearing this.
You look so cool. Fremine removes his diving helmet.
Fremine!
Hi. I love how his hat fits on underneath the helmet.
Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp. Thank goodness it was just you wearing your helmet.
Excellent way to bring up the subject. What do you know about water imps?
A water imp?
We're investigating a water imp named Thelxie.
Thelxie, you say? How surprising.
Huh? You know that name too? Or do you know someone else is trying to investigate the water imp?
No, I think our situations are probably unrelated.
Then could you tell us about what's going on with you?
Sure, if that's in order.
Oh, not at
I
all.
know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy.
Okay. Through one of my employers. This doesn't sound familiar to me, but just sort of picking up on the context that they seem to be setting up here. He works for a workshop making clockwork penguins, at the very least. And doesn't his... I associate penguins with him because one of his attacks uses a penguin pair, right? So I guess he makes those. And he actually has a job, wow, with a workshop. And people hire him, commission him to make certain toys. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Background established. Proceed!
The shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy. Following her request, I've named the toy Thelxie.
Okay.
Huh?
So a
But
coincidence?
isn't it a little creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait,
You'd be surprised. There are... I feel like kids enjoy spooky things a lot more than one might expect. So I could totally see a kid being really enthused with the story of Thelxie.
hold on. Fremine, you never take commissions from other people.
Yeah, but, she made a special request. But out of respect for her privacy, I can't really talk about it.
There's something
It's
special about this
alright, though.
commission that convinced him to
She'll
take
be
it.
coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions. Hearing that, she might be willing to share some information, and you'll be able to continue with your investigation.
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't necessarily the water imp, though. We're primarily here to investigate the disappearance of the fish.
Yeah, do you know anything?
The fish?
The fish! The fish are gone! Remine nods slightly and seems lost in thought after you tell him about the commission from the Fishing Association. Suddenly, his breath catches in his throat.
I think I may have connected the dots.
Was it you just swimming there?
These past few weeks, I've been taking Thelxie for underwater testing every day. The pressure testing makes a lot of noise.
I see.
So,
Thelxie was
all
scaring
that
off the
about
fish.
disappearing fish? Well, it was probably because of me.
There we go.
So that's how it was?
Mystery solved.
Actually, makes a lot of sense. Wait, so could that mean the child we heard about who walked into the water was also...
Just Fremine preparing for another day of
I
work?
think that's quite likely as well.
That was suspiciously easy to solve.
So in the end, it was just Fremine. Paimon spent all this time imagining what a water imp from the fairy tales might look like, and it all turns out to be just a hoax.
What do you think? Fremine's
I'm
client
sorry.
will commission us as well?
It sounds like I've created a lot of trouble for everyone else as well. I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Once I'm done, the fish should come back.
Don't worry about it. It was just a misunderstanding.
Thank you.
Actually, how much work do you still have left, Fremine? Maybe we could lend you a hand.
Thanks for offering. But I can't trouble you any more than I already have.
Not at all.
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your trustworthy companions? Companions are all about helping each other, you know?
What are friends for?
But don't you need to report back to your commissioner?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out. Even though we were just tasked with finding out why the fish had gone missing. If we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to help them get the fish back.
Yeah, we're just really experienced in this kind of thing after all.
So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra trip.
Is that what you'd like to do as well?
Yeah, I think Paimon's right.
All right, I'll trust your judgment. Please follow me. I've made a makeshift camp over there.
Wow. He built that whole thing? Or maybe he just repurposed it. To camp! Morse code! Oh god. I don't know what it's saying at all. It's not hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 letters. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Okay, I'm gonna pull up a Morse code chart. Okay, so I found a Morse code chart, and this says DBWB, I believe? Not entirely sure what that means, but this little guy is just so adorable, so who really minds? Oh, sparkles in the background. How much do you want to bet that's the Thelxie story? Ooh. Oh, look at the way it waddles. How cute.
So that's Fremine's version of Thelxie. It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Good choice. Good shape.
Had Thelxie lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have become great friends with Pear.
Where's Penguin Town?
It's not really anywhere famous or important. Don't worry about it.
I am very concerned about it all of a sudden.
Nice to meet you. Do you know how to say hello?
Got the chart ready. Ooh. He says, or it says, what would this be? DBWB. Same thing again. Yeah. So, can Thelxie talk?
I wanted to install a language output module, but due to time constraints, I had to give up on the idea.
What do you think? The
As it
initials of a
stands,
name?
Thelxie
Or
can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard.
like a diving term?
I haven't given him the ability to convert those messages into discernible words, so he can't really talk to us just yet.
Okay, so small question. He can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard, so basically pre-programmed phrases, sure. Who programmed those phrases, though? Would that have been Fremine or someone else? Maybe the commissioner requested certain phrases?
No need to get so technical. So basically, you want us to help you complete and install this language module, right?
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
No, there's no need.
Oh.
That wasn't one of my employer's requests. It was just something I wanted to try. I have two other things I'd like your help with. The first is to do some integration testing on Thelxie's motherboard, to make sure he will be able to function properly in most situations.
That doesn't sound too hard. And what's the other thing?
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Thelxie some colorful
Aw.
shells and coral, so I can craft a weapon for him.
Hey, Fremine,
A weapon?
why does
Will Thelxie have to fight?
Thelxie need a weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Thelxie will need to be able to charge forward with a weapon in hand. Like that brave prince of legend. It's a part of my employer's request.
Fascinating. Okay, so it seems unlikely, based on what he said, that the employer is the one who included the phrases, because Fremine said that the employer didn't specify the need for language, but they did specify a need for a sword. I feel like in the Thelxie legend we didn't hear about Thelxie having a sword, but again, I could see a kid being fascinated with a hero of legend and Thelxie, and then the parent trying to combine the two to make them happy.
Imaginative employer. Naming Thelxie after a water imp, but wanting him to look like a prince?
Yeah, I think it's a gift for a child.
Well, regardless of his role or species, Thelxie's purpose is the same. Just like
Aw.
Pear, he has come to this world to serve as somebody's companion.
That's so cute. Oh, that's a different message. Okay, where's my chart? Here it is. Okay, this time Thelxie says DPNQBHOJF. Indeed. Truly, a philosopher we have on our hands. Now, I almost wonder, this is in response to Femine saying that Thelxie is to be someone's companion. I wonder if that's Thelxie's version of their name. But then again, Femine would have needed to pre-program that into the motherboard, right? On the other hand, Thelxie's little chirp that it makes whenever it speaks is so cute.
He's come to this world to serve as somebody's companion.
Adorable.
Whoa, Thelxie just said something again! Could he understand what we were just talking about?
He can react to certain key words, but unfortunately, due to the lack of a translation module, he still can't quite communicate with us.
That's a pity. But anyway, the most important thing right now is for us to get to work. Maybe let's start by doing some testing on the motherboard. That sounds like something we can do here in the camp.
I feel like that language
Sounds
module is
good.
going to be very
The
important in the end.
motherboard is on my workbench, so please follow
What?
me.
The motherboard's not even installed right now? That doesn't make any sense. How is Thelxie operating, let alone talking then? Look at his little wiggles.
Ah, here we go.
That's a big mother. How is
I
that
have
supposed
this
to
test
fit?
manual, so feel free to reference it if you get stuck. Want to give
I don't
it a
think this
try?
is...
It's okay if you don't succeed immediately. I've got a lot of backup boards just in case.
I'll give it a try.
Okay. Knowing you, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
I feel like the concept of a motherboard
You're
is very
doing
different
well.
in that world than
Just
in ours.
as I expected.
We've taken on a lot of similar tasks before, you know.
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just as I mentioned earlier. We're after colorful shells and coral. Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used to Fontaine's underwater environment, right?
More or less, or we're pretty much experts
Okay,
now.
that's good. Just let me know if you ever feel uncomfortable. I'll make sure to stay right by your side.
We have a professional diver with us this time, after all. Ooh, Zuria Destry. Are you the client? He looks wealthy enough to commission a custom toy. And she seems nice too, and that's good.
Ah, Fremine, you're back. I thought you might have been out diving.
Ooh, she speaks
I'm sorry,
fancily
Madame
too.
Destray. I must have kept you waiting. I can report, though, that the construction of Thelxie is going quite smoothly.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
Oh, they're two of my trustworthy companions. They're here to help me work on Thelxie.
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like you to have some reliable friends.
I love how much she
It's
respects
really nice to
Fremine.
meet you, Madame Destray.
That's how it should be.
His employer? Paimon is Paimon. traveler.
Hello.
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are both so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
It seems like, okay, whether or not this, what would you even call Thelxie? This little guy has been commissioned, intended to be a gift for someone, a child or not. It seems like the customer herself really has an aptitude for tales as well, immediately comparing us to fairies under a roof. Like, that's such a classic fairy tale image. I wonder if she and Fremne would get along really well because they both like tales, don't they? Seems like, at least.
Oh, do you really think so?
Do I look like a fairy too?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water imps. And I wouldn't have had to trouble Fremine here with this commission.
Oh my god, so it is for your
Obsessed
child.
With the tales of water imps?
Perfect.
Ah,
And
so
he
you
does
don't
love the
know
water
anything
imps.
about my request yet?
I love it.
I would have thought Fremine had explained it to you already.
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. As you are assisting him with the project, I believe it'll be beneficial for you to learn more about its vision and history. But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission.
Oh dear, troubles?
So, would you like to listen to my story?
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your troubles.
We'll do our best,
What
at
a
least.
lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. I'm sure you're already familiar with the tale of the water imps, right? Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water. My child is rather special, however. While most other children are terrified of Thelxie, he's infatuated with him.
Infatuated? With a water imp? What a brave soul.
Yes, he told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the water imp actually sang out of a longing for companionship. As a result, he often goes near the water in secret.
Almost reminds me of the
So he
Spring
would
Fairy
become
story.
friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer? What a unique way of thinking.
What a kind-hearted child.
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness syndrome when he was only 8 years old.
Loneliness syndrome?
It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities. The syndrome is probably what made him so determined to become friends with the water imp.
Oh no. Is it a very serious disorder?
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon has a 2,000-word quota for daily conversations with the traveler, and she won't settle for a single word less!
That's
The family
adorable.
doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed some new symptoms lately, such as uncontrollable delusions.
Oh. Like,
Uncontrollable what now?
okay, so basically, when you hear the name loneliness disorder, like, I first thought that it meant that he felt quite lonely all the time, kind of like an in-world version of depression, maybe. But it sounds more like it's an umbrella term for a collection of symptoms that make it difficult to interact with other people. So, for instance, he's, for whatever reason, let's just say, for example, he's shy, and so he has a hard time speaking with others. But then there's also these hallucinations. She said delusions, but I'm wondering if it's more like perhaps he says, oh, I've really seen the water imp, and people don't believe him, and thus it's labeled as delusions. He could literally have an imaginary friend, or he could have actually seen someone. People just don't believe him, and it's been added to his symptoms. I don't know. Uncontrollable delusions. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something along the lines of, yes, he has an imaginary friend now. But who's to know whether or not that friend is really imaginary?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality, and spends all his time in his fantasy world.
Oh, it's like maladaptive
Then
daydreaming.
what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling. It goes a bit like this.
Once upon a time, there was a splendid and magnificent underwater kingdom of water imps on the Thelxie plain, 500 feet beneath the surface. Countless lovely water imps lived in houses made of rainbow shells and corals, tending to sea animals during the day, and singing between fields of golden tidalga during the night. Everyone led carefree and blessed lives until the day of the iridescent parade, the important festival during which the new king would be crowned. Before the festival, all water imps would select the most precious pearl they owned, wrap it in golden branches and leaves, and offer it to their most beloved prince. And during the day of the parade, the prince would cross a rainbow bridge made from all the offered shells and accept the crown from his father amid the applause of his subjects. Finally, the new king would bless everyone with his well wishes. As for the prince's name, it's none other than Thelxie.
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted a lovely fairy tale world for Thelxie. It's like a beautiful dream.
So it's interesting that we're making a weapon for Thelxie, this Thelxie, out of coral. Well, it was pearls used to make that bridge, right? But still, similar.
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long. You see, the story ended with a twist.
The day of the iridescence parade came as expected, but countless monsters also arrived alongside the prince. Monsters were evil and cruel, and they struck fear into all the water imps' hearts. The water imps, adept at singing as they were, could not defend themselves against the monsters. So the kingdom fell, the king was killed, and the water imps were locked behind bars. The rainbow bridge lost its color and crumbled away. The prince was barely able to escape with the help of a mysterious masked individual, but he had already lost everything, and could only spend his days singing mournful songs. And that's why Thelxie sings. And just as the prince sang out of loneliness, so could his song only be heard by lonely children? Yeah, by similarly lonely children.
How could the story end like this? Is that kind of fantasizing what caused your son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually loses themselves to the fantasy world of their own creation.
What do you
My
mean?
poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality. He's begun to see himself as Thelxie.
Interesting.
Perhaps in his mind, the
I thought he'd
loneliness
see
he
himself
felt
as a friend of
became the
Thelxie.
same as that of a prince who lost everything he ever loved or stood for.
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusions. Then we have to help him snap out of it.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor, and we think it is best to try to guide his fantasy.
Ooh, guide his fantasy.
He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book. If we could use this book as a breakthrough for his condition. Here, you can take a look.
Oh, that's
Suzerain's son also
beautiful.
saw Thelxie as a penguin. Oh, he looks so sad.
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. However, we'll lead the story to a different ending. One where the water imp prince is eventually able to restore his kingdom with the help of his friends. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again. That's what I mean by guiding his fantasy.
I
Just
see.
need to finish the picture book. Why does Fremine need to make a Thelxie as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Thelxie, and help him regain his crown and country. But my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Thelxie, and then I'll paint the journey with this Thelxie into the picture book.
It makes sense.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria. Paimon still has one question, though. Where will we be able to find a Water Imp Kingdom?
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains.
Ooh.
I've already asked Fremine to research them for me. We'll be able to use one of the ruins as the kingdom.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the Kingdom of Water Imps. As long as we chase away the monsters in the ruins, it'll count as chasing away the monsters in the Water Imp Kingdom, right?
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to take this seriously. And the only way we can take this seriously is if we choose to believe everything that's happening is real.
So we'll be playing it straight? Or, making it a fully immersive experience? Oh, neither of those really sound right. Well, either way, we'll still be able to help, right?
I'll try my best.
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay asleep for a bit longer, because he's so enamored with his dream.
Zuria.
I'm really appreciating her mentality, I think, so far. We'll see how it plays out, but she's approaching this so gently. You know, it's clear that she's concerned and she's worried, but she's still being kind to her son. She's trying to help him in the most gentle and kind way possible, you know, in a way that will hopefully make him happy while also helping him return to this reality. We'll see how it works out, but, you know, she could be so much less understanding, so much crueler about this out of her own fear. So you've got to give her some kudos for her mental fortitude.
Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. I should be heading back right about now to check on my son. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view. Feel free to come find me if anything urgent comes up.
Understood.
I hope there's someone there watching after him.
There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help me out, I've made some more progress on Thelxie. I estimate that he should be ready sometime tomorrow.
That's great news. I must thank you all. With that in mind, how about we meet here in 2 days' time to head to the Kingdom of Water Imps?
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Let's meet again in another 2 days.
I'll see you then.
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady. Fremine, do you think her plan will work out?
Let's discuss that over by the tent. There were a few things that I didn't bring up because the Madame was here.
Oh dear.
What is it, Fremine? What did you want to say?
Oh dear.
If you don't mind me asking, I would like the two of you to mentally prepare yourselves.
Mentally prepare ourselves for what?
This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two are both really strong and will do everything you can to help the child. But with the syndrome being the way it is, if things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be able to accept the outcome and not put too much blame on yourselves.
Oh.
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden?
He's really
Didn't we
preparing for the
just
worst.
promise Zuria that we'll be optimistic about everything working out?
What do you know that
It's
we
not
don't?
that I'm not optimistic. It's just...
You know this illness really well?
So that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about. Wait, Fremine, don't tell Paimon that you also...
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just seen many cases of it at the House of the Hearth.
Oh.
Back when we lived under the previous director.
Oh.
They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors and one's state of mind, to environmental factors, and even ley line disorder effects. Some even say it could be caused by contamination from god remains. And from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive outcomes. In the worst cases, the patient could even pass away.
What? It could get that serious?
From stress to
No
the
wonder
system,
I
do you
thought they
think?
just stopped talking as much.
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So, if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst case scenario, I would prefer that you back out right now. I don't want you to help only to feel like you failed.
Don't worry. I've seen all kinds of strange and difficult things in life.
Paimon's seen all of those things too. No matter how hard it might get, we won't be scared.
Really? Then in that case, let's see this real-life fantasy adventure together to the end.
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've described, then do you really think Zuria's method will be able to help? After all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will only be turned into a picture book for her son to read.
Well, is he coming along with us? Because if he experiences this
Well,
adventure...
I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy means that the child wants to save himself somehow. The only
Ooh.
reason he's allowed his dream kingdom to fall is because he's lost control of his heart. But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so well, Fremine?
He's very empathetic.
Well, maybe because I've also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale world, much like that boy's. I was able to draw a lot of support from it, so I believe in the power of fantasy worlds.
So, the penguin town you mentioned was...
So you remembered.
Perhaps.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark!
Suddenly, Fremine pulls out a diving helmet and puts it on his head. Is he just gonna dive away?
Put that on!
Or is he feeling shy?
It's just one of my personal quirks. Please pay it no mind.
I think he's feeling
Anyway,
shy.
Penguin Town is a peaceful place with lots of penguin residents. They're all really good at making clockwork toys. And Pear is the town's triumphant hero, as well as the one who quietly protects the whole place.
Pear? But didn't you make Pear yourself?
Pretty impressive.
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me because he realized how much I needed him. So it's not so much that I made Pear, as Pear chose me as his friend.
Fremine, are you sure you're not losing control of your fantasies as well?
On the contrary, I think, as we were just saying earlier, Fremine actually has really high emotional intelligence, basically. As a child, he used his own fairy tales in order to give himself strength and courage to, withstand his childhood in the House of the Hearth under Crucibana. So it's, the power of stories, particularly in a world like this, is not to be underestimated. And now that he's grown up a little bit. You can tell he's actually grown up into a pretty self-aware young man. It's hard to see perhaps initially because he seems so shy and he's reluctant to maybe interact with strangers so much. But when you do start to interact with him, you realize he knows himself really well. He knows exactly what makes his heart and his head tick. I feel like he knows exactly where his emotional limits are, unfortunately. He knows how much he can take before he can't take it anymore. You know what I mean? So he recognizes how much these stories helped him, and he's not ashamed of that. He did what he needed to do to survive, and he did. And so now, when he sees somebody else doing essentially the same thing, he has no judgment. He's very empathetic. And even I don't know if he's met this child himself yet, but he's simultaneously being professional about this because this is the son of his client, and also recognizing a kindred spirit, you know? So I don't know. Wow, Fremine, I didn't realize you had such emotional resilience and intelligence. Also, the fact that he's sharing with us this story, I think he put on his helmet because he feels a little embarrassed sharing it, but he knows that putting on his helmet will give him enough courage to do it. Like, he knows exactly what to do in order to make himself comfortable enough to share the information that he feels is important to share, you know? So, I don't know, he just seems very well to have a great sense of self-control, if you know what I mean. It's very impressive.
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between fantasy and reality. I just believe that the fairy tale world of my dreams must also exist somewhere.
And see, he's presented as this very shy character, but he's willing to admit things like this because, first of all, this is Genshin. It's a fantasy world. He could be right. For all we know. You know that, I don't know, theory, I guess, that all fictional worlds are real worlds that exist somewhere and authors are just like, I don't know, psychically divining them? Who knows? This is Genshin. He could be right. All the stories in Genshin could be true somewhere. But also, even if it's not true, I think he knows that he needs to believe that it's true in order for it to give him the strength that he needs. And he knows that he needs to believe that, so he believes it, and he's willing to admit that because he feels no shame in believing something that he needs to believe in order to keep going. Which I think shows that he's much more self-confident than it might seem at first. Maybe self-confidence not the word. He is, at the very least, he's not ashamed of himself, which is ideal. He can be shy, but he's not ashamed, which I think is wonderful.
It might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see. Or it will only reveal itself at very specific times.
Specific times? Like when you put on your diving helmet?
Yeah, that's the general idea of it.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. Both alienating, but also as if you're being protected by something.
Yeah, he's
I
putting
have
kind of a
similar
barrier between
feeling when I
himself
put
and the
on
real
my
world.
diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see some truly wondrous things, as if a fairy tale has become reality. It's almost like a sort of miracle.
Really? Like a miracle?
You know how some people game reality? Fremine is fairy tailing reality, and I love that for him. Now I want to try on your helmet too.
Well, if that's in order.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Why is everything in
time to work
order?
on Thelxie's weapon. We don't want to keep you from finishing your commission.
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish everything before tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me, Paimon. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for you to try my helmet.
We need a
Thanks
Paimon-sized
for all of
helmet.
your help. I'll be off for now. Let's meet up here again in 2 days.
We'll see you then.
Is your child feeling any better?
Thank you for your concern, Fremine. His condition is fairly stable. The family doctor said we might be able to take him out for a stroll today.
For a stroll, so I suppose
We're here!
he's not coming along with us.
Seems like everyone's arrived now.
Dragon spine.
Not quite. Aren't we missing someone? But Paimon has a guess where he might be.
Thelxie in the water?
Hey, Thelxie!
I want to see him waddle out. Yes! Here he comes with his spear and his shield. Look at those rosy little cheeks. Oh, that's my cue. Okay, we are looking at D, B, E, M, B. That's pretty similar to the first one he gave us, isn't it? He always seems to start with, yeah. I really feel like he's trying to say something specific.
Oh, Thelxie's got himself a sword and a shield
Wow.
now. He's looking sharp.
He is.
Indeed.
I love how
With
pretty
his
it
weapons
is.
in hand, Thelxie looks more formidable than ever. You've really outdone yourself, Fremine.
Good job, Femine.
Ew.
Yes, you really had a good eye for materials. Everything you found was high quality. Speaking of which, Zuria just told me that she wants to end the adventure with the coronation ceremony. So, could I also trouble you with finding some materials for the crown?
We're on it.
You can just keep an eye out for them on our way to the ruins. I was planning to collect the materials myself, but then I realized you might be able to find some prettier ones than what I could get my hands on.
Consider it done.
Seems like everything's ready to go. Shall we head out?
Please wait a moment. I was just thinking. Since Thelxie has already shown us his brand new appearance, we may already be able to draw a new page in the picture book. What do you think?
Ooh, Paimon's excited now.
What should we draw on the page?
Why don't we use the story we know as a reference? Just make the atmosphere a bit less grim.
So we'll take out the sad parts and replace them with happier stuff? Sounds great to Paimon.
All right, I'll give it a try. I'm not very adept at drawing, but I've seen a lot of art during my work. Now, as far as the actual content of the drawing, please tell me what you'd like to see.
What is her work? Did she mention that before and I just forgot? I wonder if that'll be relevant later. To be honest though, I wonder if Fremine would be good at drawing, because if he builds clockwork mechanisms, he probably knows how to draw those blueprints pretty well, right? That requires a steady hand.
Think. We can draw the weapon. The prince has picked up the Sword of Courage and the Shield of Perseverance, which
Oh,
proves he has crossed the mire of doubt,
that's
and
perfect.
now is ready to wage war against the darkness.
That's
Okay,
perfect.
I'll add the weapons. Anything else?
Paimon wants to give him some friends. Thelxie's got some friends by his side now, so he's no longer fighting alone.
Great touch.
Okay, I'll also draw some companions. Anything else?
Don't forget to add some color.
Color. Ah, color, yes, that's really important. The road in front of him now will no longer be just grayscale, but bursting with color and hope. Who would have thought the page could have become so inspiring? How wonderful! Splendid ideas, everyone.
That is gorgeous.
Everyone looks super pumped up. Thelxie most of all.
I bet you got to keep that if you did this
Are
event.
you seeing this, my son? Are you feeling inspired by this as well?
Who are you addressing? He's not here, is he? God, when she does something like that, it makes me think he's already dead. But hopefully she's just doing that metaphorically. Let's translate some Morse code. Once again, it's just gibberish, I think. R, F, U, B, J, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like... Maybe at the end, it will be revealed that all these messages can be translated using a certain cipher. Because I feel like they could have just written a little musical note if they didn't want these messages to mean anything. But as far as I can tell, it's just random letters so far. That was a long one, though.
Sure he is, Zuria. And this is still just the first page.
That's right! Paimon can't wait to see the picture book when it's all finished. We should finish it as soon as possible and keep up the belief and hope in our hearts.
You know what would be interesting? Random but interesting. Imagine if Zuria was the one who's having sort of the fairy tale stories playing on around her. Maybe she's already lost her son, and in order to try to conceptualize that and accept that, she's playing through this fairy tale story that she subconsciously wrote in order to come to terms with that. That would be brutal. But so far, nothing is pointing in that direction. Just an idea.
I'm starting to look forward to it as well. So let's get the show on the road and head towards the Kingdom of Water Imps.
Let's go.
Hey, Thelxie's Fantastic Adventure begin now!
They said the thing. They said the name of the quest. Ooh. Underwater domain. Very cool.
So these are the underwater ruins that Fremine found. They're pretty amazing, but still not exactly the kind that Paimon was imagining.
This is the Kingdom of Water Imps, Paimon.
Paimon knows.
Not ruins.
It's just... Paimon thought we'd actually see a fairy tale world. Like with the Water Imps' colorful houses and the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, but aren't we?
Sorry. I was hoping to put up some decorations, but ran out of time to do it by myself.
It's okay. It's fantasy time now.
Someone's already switched into fantasy mode.
Seems like the travelers already got the gist of things. You should do your best too, Paimon.
Don't underestimate Paimon. Paimon can flip the switch too. Now entering Paimon Fantasy Mode!
And just like that, the whole world gets overwritten.
Young adventurers, 'tis Paimon, guardian goddess of this land.
Are you now?
State your goals and intentions for visiting this nation.
Uncovering your secrets. Oh, I mean, escorting the young prince.
We are the companions of Prince Thelxie, your Divine Highness. We have come to help him reclaim the glory that he has lost.
Oh, reclaiming your glory? My goddess here has golden glory, silver glory, and bronze glory. Which is it that the prince has lost?
It's such a small detail, but I'm fascinated that there's 3 options. Did you break character, Paimon?
Not at all! This is the goddess's test! From your responses, the goddess has concluded that you're all brave adventurers without the taint of greed in your hearts. As
Incredible.
such, you are worthy of everyone's respect. So please accept the goddess's reward. The goddess will now bestow all 3 types of glory upon you.
Wow.
And as for this prince, the goddess will also bestow upon you the rainbow glory, so your future will always be filled with light.
Aw. Good job, Paimon. I'm so tempted to translate
My
that.
gratitude to your Divine Highness for such generous blessings. Power is now surging through every part of my body.
Me too. Is this the divine inspiration of legend?
All thanks to the power of Goddess Paimon.
Now, adventurers, forge bravely ahead and defeat the monsters that have taken over the kingdom. You will be sure to find that which you seek.
Ooh.
Whew, it's finally over. So have we defeated the evil monsters and reclaimed the kingdom of Water Imps?
I presume so.
It should now be time for us to attend Thelxie's coronation ceremony. The only thing is, I didn't expect this to go so smoothly. I thought it would have taken longer for us to reach the heart of the ruins. It was my mistake. I should have told Fremine earlier that we would also need a crown.
It's all because the Traveler and Goddess Paimon were too strong! We just eradicated all the monsters in one go!
It's okay, Zuria. We can come back again once I've made the crown.
Then I must thank all of you again for taking the time. And you too, Thelxie, my child.
Thelxie, my child? What do you mean, Thelxie, my child? Why are you projecting your child onto Thelxie? I guess because her child is theoretically still alive and is theoretically projecting themselves onto Thelxie. So yes, okay. Never mind. Panic over. Thelxie is indeed her child for now. Okay. Just a little bit of translating the Morse code, just to make sure it hasn't suddenly resolved into words, you know? Okay, seems to be gibberish. Hooray! We proceed tentatively.
Thelxie's turning out to be a real expert at fighting.
You sure like consonants, Thelxie.
I don't think there's anything that will be able to stop him. He's like a true prince now.
Ah, they grow up so quickly.
Yes, I agree as well.
Let's head back to camp for now. I asked the traveler to search for some materials on the way because I want to make the crown as soon as possible.
We can add an update to Thelxie's fantastic adventures as well. Now that we've reclaimed the Kingdom of Water Imps, it's time for us to draw some new scenes in the picture book. Zuria and
You know, it's almost suspicious that the story seems so straightforward. By now, I would usually have some suspicion of something. Well, I do have a, small theory that maybe the child has already passed away. There's no evidence for that, so it doesn't count. Why is this so straightforward? Why is nothing suspicious? That is suspicious. No, because it's Genshin.
Fremine, why don't we draw the new pages first? Paimon really wants to update the picture book.
You just want to see someone draw Goddess Paimon.
Didn't have to say it out loud.
Were you a Goddess Paimon? Are you a Goddess Paimon?
No problem. I'm happy to oblige. Then in that case, the story today should go something like this. After overcoming many obstacles, Prince Thelxie and his brave companions finally arrived at the entrance to the Kingdom of Water.
That is so cute. Why is she wearing a mask? Why is she the only one wearing a mask? Is it because her character's like a magician character, whereas we're melee fighters?
Imps.
Suspicious.
At this time, the little fairy in the group, Paimon,
Ooh.
revealed her true goddess form to her companions.
I love it. I'm so proud.
The goddess has arrived. She praised the companions for their purity, and to reward them, she bestowed upon them many blessings, and even prayed that the prince would be able to fulfill his goal.
Bathed under the goddess's glory, the prince and his companions charged into the bastion of evil, chased away the monsters, and rescued the pretty water imps from their imprisonment. The prince finally managed to reclaim his kingdom. But as for the crown...
Oh no, the crown isn't ready yet!
No. The crown was within the prince's reach, but the monsters took it with them as they fled. They haven't given up and are sure to return, but the prince is certain to reclaim the crown the next time they fight. The brilliant rainbow shall descend onto the kingdom once more.
Ah, clever.
I can almost see it all happening now! Whoa, the pages are beautiful! Zuria is really talented at drawing.
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
Thank you, everyone. We've also completed the second page of the picture book now. Thelxie's journey is one step closer to its end and the promised coronation. My child, you'll also be able to brighten up when that time comes, right?
It really does feel like she's just speaking to her child, like, vaguely, just thinking of her child. But then why does Thelxie always respond? How does Thelxie know that her child is Thelxie?
Who knows? Perhaps the doctor will already have some good news for you when you get back home today.
I sure hope so, Your Divine Highness. Oh, Fremine, about the time you'll need for the crown.
Please don't worry. One day should be more than enough.
Ah, then I must thank you for your hard work. All right, let's rendezvous here in another 2 days' time for our final adventure, okay?
Sounds good to me.
See you in 2 days, my lovely friends.
And now she's whistling. There she goes.
Alright, it's about time we
Just
start
watching her
heading up
walk
here.
away.
You've still got some work to do, right, Fremine?
Yeah, I'll need to go to the city shortly to get some parts for the base of the crown. I want to try out a few different designs and choose the one that looks the best.
Ramine's really dedicated.
Yeah, Paimon knew that you didn't often take commissions from others, but Paimon had no idea you'd be so dedicated once you're on the job.
Well, about that, it might be because...
Because what?
It's
Because...
because I hope...
Is he blushing?
What's the matter? And what's with that look on your face? You're turning red, and it looks like you're about to run away and put your helmet on again.
Am I turning red?
He is. Don't tease Fremine, Paimon.
All right. We won't bother you anymore for today, Fremine. Let's see each other in 2 days' time.
Just for today.
Okay.
Tomorrow it's
Thank
fair
you.
game again.
See you in 2 days.
See ya. Beautiful day.
I hope that everyone who's found
Aw.
themselves in a dark place would be able to see something beautiful and experience a miracle for themselves.
That's such a nice thing to say.
Hey, Fremine! Thelxie! We're here!
Hi again. Where is she?
Hello, Paimon.
Zaria.
Hello, traveler.
Did we beat her here? It's a great question, Thelxie.
Is the crown ready?
Yes, we're just waiting for Zaria now. She hasn't arrived yet.
Then let's
Suspicious.
wait for her a little while. Or actually, maybe we can go find her. It's not too far from here anyway. Didn't she say she just lives on the hill over there?
I believe she
Hey,
did.
traveler, Paimon.
Huh?
Hello?
Speaking of,
Found you two at long last.
Delaroche!
I'm so glad that you both are all right.
You too.
why are you here, Miss Delaroche? And what could have happened to us?
I guess we never did return.
What could have happened? That water imp Thelxie, of course. After I gave you that commission the other day, I began to get worried and went asking about the boy that went missing.
Did he go missing? Was it actually Zuria's son? It wasn't Fremine and he actually drowned?
That? We've got it all figured out now. The boy you heard about was just Fremine. Even the missing fish was his fault. Don't worry, we'll help you get the fish back as soon as we're done with this job.
Oh no, what have you learned,
Sorry
Delaroche?
about that. I've been diving in the area recently.
Huh? Fremine? Diving? No, that's not what happened at all. I've heard a completely different account.
What did you hear?
What I was told is that about a month ago, a child tied a bunch of heavy seashells onto his body and walked into this open stretch of water. He never came back. What could that be if not that water imp's work?
Are you sure?
'Cause I could totally believe that that was Zuria's child and that Zuria rescued him, having noticed that he was gone. But I could also totally believe that she wasn't able to,
100% sure.
not having noticed in
I've confirmed
time.
the account with several veteran fishermen I know. The child was only 8 years old. His name was Lescaut. Lescaut d'Estray.
That's, yep.
Wait, let's go to Stray?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name. They
Oh
say
my
that-
god, and if we're not going to be able to finish the storybook because... basically because we're out of time, and still Thelxie hasn't gotten his coronation. No, it's a sad ending again.
Family took on the name after moving to the city from a place called Stray. Anyway,
Interesting.
his mother is a pretty famous art dealer, while his father passed away from an accident many years ago.
That would explain her art knowledge and her
Well,
wealth.
naturally, his mother was devastated by the incident and fell terribly ill. It's said that she left the court of Fontaine, and no one knows where she's gone.
The focus on the house.
It can't be, right? Lescaut d'Estray? Zuria d'Estray? It must be some sort of a coincidence?
Seems like we need to pay a
I'm
visit.
sorry, miss. We've got to go check on something right now.
You've got to go.
Oh, I see. Well, you go on ahead. I just came to make sure that you're both all right. I'll head back then. Please remember to take care.
This is distracting me so much. What is that random floating rock in the background? Is that Larua we're seeing? What? Might be, because that's the second heart. What is that? bothering me so much.
Excuse us.
The landscape looks different.
Is this Madame Destray's place?
Because this was a different...
Who are you?
Because this was a couple versions
I have
ago.
a patient here who needs quiet bed rest. Please leave us be unless you have anything urgent to report.
Who is the patient? The door opens after a brief moment of silence. A man walks out with a confused look in his eyes.
This is the residence of Zuria Destri, and I am Jala Khan, her family doctor.
Yeah.
What did you mean by your question just now? Who else could be my patient?
Your patient should be Zuria's son, right? She told us herself that her son had contracted loneliness syndrome.
No, you're right. Young Master Lescaut did have that illness once upon a time, but he's... Well, the young master's no longer with us. And now the Madame has come down with the same illness.
Yep.
Are you her friends by any chance?
You could say this. You informed the doctor of all that's happened in the past few days.
So, when she had requested time to go out over the past few days, it was so she could spend them with you.
She is very
So,
cognizant.
if I'm understanding this right.
Making
The
appointments to
one
see us
who's
every 2
suffering
days.
from uncontrollable delusions is the Madame herself? She believes her son is still alive?
That is correct. When the young master disappeared, she was organizing an art exhibit that she had specifically prepared for him. But since she had to leave the house, she was unable to see her son one last time.
Okay, on one hand, that is so sad. On the other hand, who was watching him? What on earth? I mean,
That might
He
have
was
been
8.
the trigger for her regret.
and he had
Or
the
perhaps
loneliness
the family's
sickness.
fall into loneliness and grief was inevitable as soon as the old master passed away. First the son, and then the mother.
Who was supposed to be watching him?
How could that be? She really looked like she had a handle on everything. Her smile was so lovely, and she even told us to stay optimistic. But you're saying she...
Those actions are proof that she can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality.
Then all the other things that she told us about her son, were those fake too?
No, those were all real. Although they were all things that happened before the young master left us for good. Madame's time has just never moved forward since his passing.
How long
I
has it been?
see. So after her son left, she
I can't
created a
believe it.
fantasy world where
No! No! Not my silly little baseless theory!
her son
Oh,
was still with her.
darn it.
She was looking for a way to cure his illness when she ran into us.
So, how is Zaria now?
She has been in a good mood the past few days, even humming a song when she returned from her stroll. She even began discussing with me the idea of using deliberate guidance to ease the illness.
That's exactly
It
the
was all
idea
going
she was
well.
using.
Until last night.
What
She
happened?
spent a whole night staring at the shell the young master left behind, and the words that he had inscribed onto it. Then she broke down once more. I prescribed some sedatives, and she's currently resting.
What are the words?
But then what should we do? How can we help her? There has to be something we can do.
Don't panic, Paimon. Even though this is a devastating piece of news, we must all calm down first.
I'm just
What
sad.
should we do? I need to think. I need to
Oh.
remember the old house of the hearth and the children who lived in it. Those patients and what their doctors said back then. What if... Dr.
Yes?
Jala Khan, have you seen a picture book? The Madame should have brought it back with her.
Are you thinking about trying the guidance therapy she talked to me about before? It's worth a shot. I'll go get the book.
The doctor quickly retrieves the book and hands it to Fremine.
Yes, this is it.
We still need to finish the
That's
adventure?
right. If what Dr. Jean Lacan said was true, the past few days have been very helpful to Zuria, so we should complete this journey.
I mean, yeah, I think if we knock on the
need to
door and
show her that
say,
her child has found a happy ending in the world of her dreams.
But But wouldn't that just make it harder for her to accept reality?
One must first face reality before accepting it. The Madame has been crushed by her feelings of grief and can no longer bring herself to face reality. Our first priority would be to get her out of this state.
Right. Before today, I had thought she wanted to use Thelxie's fantastic adventures to save her son. But now, I think she might need it to save herself.
Yeah, because if we can bring this story to an end, then the story will end. That sense of closure might cause her fantasy to end as well, you know?
And if we could complete it, we should be able to give her some feeling of inspiration and closure.
Exactly.
Maybe those feelings would be enough to give her some courage to face reality again.
We'll have to give it a
There's
try.
no time to waste. Let's set off right away.
Let's go.
We're here again. This is the final part of Thelxie's journey, but the most important person is missing.
We didn't bring her with us? Did we try? Okay, just in case. Bear with me, just in case. Okay, not quite a word.
Everyone, please don't be so down and gloomy. Remember what she told us? If we were to feel troubled, the patient would become anxious as well.
True,
You're right.
true.
Paimon needs to smile. If we have to give something to Zuria, it should be our smiles. We have to keep smiling as we finish this adventure.
Oh
And then
gosh.
she'll be able to recover, right, everyone?
Yeah, I'm sure she
Yeah. I'm sure she will.
will. Ooh. Remne feels more
I'm sorry.
confident than I do.
I have to go. I made a promise to my friends, and I'm already very late.
But Madame, you're still...
No, let her go.
Don't try to stop me. Today's the most important day for treating Thelxie. We'll use the guidance method. Didn't you also say that you'd think it'd work?
I'm not trying to stop you, Madame. It's just... Could you tell me the name of your child?
Oh,
Dr. Jalacan, how can you forget the name of your own patient? His name is Thelxie. He's the prince of the kingdom of water imps. We will go today to reclaim his crown and attend his coronation ceremony.
yeah, she's deep in it now, isn't she?
Madame, please rest assured, everything is still on schedule. Your friends have already departed to find...
Guidance mode activated, eh?
Look, they've already returned.
Zuria! Zuria! We've retrieved the crown!
Yay!
Paimon, everyone, have you really?
Yes, but the coronation ceremony still hasn't taken place, because we felt like you should be the one to preside over it.
Perfect.
Wonderful, how wonderful! Thelxie, my child, are you hearing this? Everything you lost will now come back to you, and soon, very soon, you will never be lonely again.
Oh dear. I wish I could just memorize
the
this
last page
immediately
of the
so I could
picture
read
book.
that so quickly.
It's still waiting for you to illustrate in color.
Right, the picture book. But I don't know what I should put on the last page.
Well, the coronation, of course.
Don't worry, Thelxie and his friends all know what should go on it. Get ready, Zuria! We'll describe everything for you.
You've got this.
Okay.
At last, Thelxie and his friends were able to drive off the final invading monsters and achieve a dashing victory. Their success was complete, and the recovered crown resplendent.
Lovely
The
word.
water imps, finally returning to their homes, showered the prince with love and applause as he greeted them. They once again offered their precious shells to the prince and reconstructed the rainbow bridge of old. As he watched the scene unfold, the prince could not help but be touched by its beauty.
Moved by everyone's happiness, the prince stepped onto the rainbow bridge and took a good look at all the friends who had gone on the journey with him. There stood the traveler, Goddess Paimon, Fremine, and... Huh? Where's the last person? The prince looked frantically around, but could not find the person he wanted to see most. At that moment, the person suddenly appeared on the other side of the bridge. She walked towards him with a smile and slowly lifted her veil.
The prince could not hold back his tears. He recognized then that the mysterious person that had been by his side the whole time was none other than his mother. Surya walked across the bridge and placed the crown above the prince's head. She smiled down upon him as she said, "My prince, my king, you shall never, ever need to feel lonely again."
That's the end of the story, Zarya.
What do you think?
Thank you. Thank you all. I am so sorry, my child. Maman should have spent more time with you. Did you hear the story? You'll never have to feel lonely again.
Did we reach her though? Okay, I have to check. Okay, it still doesn't quite mean anything. Unless it does and it's just in a cipher. I really think he's just gonna spontaneously develop the ability to speak.
Maman loves you too.
Or that works too, I guess.
What's happening? Is Zarya talking to Thelxie?
He spontaneously develops the
Quick,
ability to
Put on
understand
my
him.
diving helmet. There's a transcription module in it that's compatible with Thelxie's output signals. You should be able to use it to understand what Thelxie's saying.
Finally! Remine walks up to you and pulls out his diving helmet before placing it on your head. Is it going to translate for me, or do I need to translate that? That's the same thing. That's the same thing as I was looking at earlier. Oh, so that's what Thelxie is saying.
Maman loves you too.
Is it gonna be? It's gonna be the kid. Wait, what is this?
Did you see something?
Maman, I'm getting a little sleepy. If it's time for bed, can you hum a lullaby to me again?
Of course, my dearest child. As long as you want to hear it, Mama will always hum for you.
Thank you, Maman. Your lullaby has always been my favorite. Now that I've heard it, I can return to my dream and to the kingdom of water imps in peace.
My poor darling. Please don't forget. I will always love you. My love is greater than the entire distance between here and the kingdom of water imps.
I won't forget, Maman. And so is my love for you. Greater than the entire distance between here and the kingdom of water imps. Good night, Maman.
Three days later, at Fremine's camp.
Traveler, Paimon, you're here.
Fremine!
Hi.
Why did you call us in such a hurry? Did you hear something from Zarya? Oh, if it's not good news, Paimon doesn't want to hear it.
I don't know if we can take much
It's
more.
Definitely great news. The Madame came here for a visit just now with her doctor. Color has returned to her cheeks, and she sounded full of energy as well.
That's
She
great.
said she'd like to return to the court to continue hosting the art exhibit. But this time, she'll work with her doctor to exhibit some picture books related to the illness. Of course, Thelxie's fantastic adventures and the guidance therapy will be included in the exhibit as well. She'd like to use her experience to help others.
That's amazing.
Oh,
She is indeed very resilient,
Here.
isn't she?
Please take this picture book with you. The Madame wanted you to have it.
Oh, I knew players who
If at
played
some
this would
point
get
in
the book.
future you were to run into someone with similar troubles, she hopes the book would be of use to you.
Jealous.
But this is her son's story, right? Is it really okay to give the book to us?
Don't worry, it's just a copy.
Oh, good.
She still has the original. It's extremely important to her.
Yeah, I would say.
There's no problem. It feels good knowing we've contributed to something important. Paimon definitely didn't expect the fantasy adventure to be so useful. Paimon was a little worried about how everything would turn out. After all, fantasy is just fantasy.
Are you sure, Paimon?
Do you know what the Madame said?
In this world?
She said that at the moment when she placed the crown on Thelxie's head, she felt like she really saw something beautiful. Her child had returned, and he told her that he loved her. She also said that was when she was finally able to bid farewell to her son. She felt like at that moment, she was healed by some mystical power, and she was filled with courage from head to toe.
Oh, really? But could that just be another part of her fantasy?
Well, it matches what we
Perhaps.
saw too.
But if
who
fantasy
knows?
is just fantasy, and the fantasy world is not real, then how could it still grant us these powers that we can continue to use in the real world?
So, perhaps fantasy is not just fantasy after all.
Be.
A descent of the fairy tale world into the real world.
That is so cool.
At that time, the wondrous fairy tale temporarily became reality and influenced real things in our world. That has to be what happened.
And I fully believe that oh my god, could be what just happened. Because this world is a story already, and they've already established, particularly in Fontaine, that changing the genre of the story could change the world.
You saw it too, didn't you?
And that is what we saw.
That can't be what happened, right? There's just no way. Wouldn't it be like a miracle if that really happened?
And that's what Fremine wanted.
Yes. I suppose that would be a miracle. I hope that everyone
Oh,
who's
nice.
found themselves in a dark place would be able to see something beautiful and experience a miracle for themselves.
Hey! And that's what he said earlier, but didn't quite have the courage to say in front of other people. Okay, that's the end? Yeah.
That can't be what...
Wow, okay. Oh my god. It's such a short story.
Night, Mammon.
This whole thing is it's an hour and 10 minutes about, not counting like gameplay time, I guess. Such a short story with such a punch to it. My goodness. Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, it was sweet in a dark way, in a healing way as well, you know? But I enjoyed getting to see more of Fremine's character and seeing a little bit more of his psychology. You know, during the Archon quest, it definitely focused more on Linny and Lynette, so it's pretty cool to see more from their other sibling, dear Fremine. And at the end there, they really did tie it back into that huge, slowly building in the background, lest we forget, theme about, you know, things ascending or descending and stories becoming true or being true in this world. Oh my god, wow, in a nutshell, what a fantastic event. That was really cool. And the crown was so cute. That was amazing. And I like how it's, in a way, it felt very realistic. I like how at the end she went back to her life, because that is what a happy ending looks like for her. Just going back to the way things were, having recovered from this, and feeling stronger and more confident and wanting to use her experience to help others. That's amazing. As we thought at the beginning, she is indeed quite resilient, isn't she? Wow, that was, whew. That was an experience, wasn't it? So, I guess that's all I have to say about that. You heard my thoughts on Fremine. Man, haha. That's quite the story. Okay, well, Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. What was it like playing this quest? It seems like it would have been a small event, but did you expect such an impactful quest out of such a small event? Oh my god. Let me know how that went. If you feel like sharing, I'd be interested. For now though, yes, thank you so much for watching. A special thank you to our Patreon supporters. Jade Liquid, Konosard, Power of Chaos, Mary, Edu, Gibrilia, the Loyal Servant of Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa, Ruru, Axel Iron, Jay Quellen, Lunar, Sonova, Matsen, Marcin, Marcus, Sao, Don't Call It, Brian, Warp, and all of our anonymous patrons. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Ooh, gonna need a little break after that one, my goodness. Bye now!